what's going on, card collectors? Hope you're having a great day. This video is a shout out to my buddy Jason over at Mr. Fisher Bike. He is off on a little vacay, little cruise. Hope Jason, you're having a great time over there, watching videos, just chilling out, swimming at the pool. I saw that you were packing so many clothes. Don't you only need like a pair of swim trunks, a t-shirt, some sandals, and something to dress up in for those fancy dinners they have on a cruise? Never been on a cruise, or don't really have a desire to go on a cruise, to be stuck in a small cabin with a bunch of other people. I like to go on vacation. I like to be like, off without a bunch of people. So, but anyways, speaking of Jason, he's having a little contest. He's getting more into vintage, and he wants some ideas for vintage cards. So he wants to see everybody's top 10 vintage cards they have in their collection. So I'm going to share my top 10 vintage cards, and I determined vintage cards from 1980 to I guess I would say post-war. So from like 1945 and on. Not that I have all those cards, but I do have one card that's before that era and in a pre-war card, so in my collection that I'm going to share today. So starting at number 10, first up on my list is going to be Mr. Pete Rose. This is the 1965 Pete Rose. It was one of the first cards I ever got, my first vintage card probably that I ever bought, and this is not the original one. The one I had was kind of beat up. This one I purchased at a card shop in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and he was having a good deal on vintage cards, and they were in a box, and I snagged this one because it was much better than the one I had. But this is the 1965, obviously. Pete Rose. Up next is a card that one of my top cards that I like, but it's not, obviously top 10 of my collection. It's number 9. This is the Dodgers Sluggers with Ferrello, Hodges, Campanella, and Snyder. So we got 3 Hall of Famers on there, except for Ferrello, but all great Dodgers legends. I picked this up in an old slab and had it regraded in SGC. My first SGC submission that I had, but it's a cool card. Shout out to my buddy Dylan over at Double D Vintage, who loves his combo cards. At the back here, this is from 1957. It's a bummer that Jackie Robinson wasn't in this 57 set, even though he played the 56 season for the Dodgers. This was their last season in Brooklyn. Next up, Mr. Steve Garvey, 2-time All-Star Game MVP. We just had the All-Star Game yesterday, and the only Rocky who was in that was Elias Diaz, who ended up getting the game-winning home run in his first All-Star at bat ever. Well, we got a little stuff on the card there, but 72 design. This is a second year Steve Garvey, and it's a pretty good example of a 1972 card. A lot of these are off-center. 1972 is not my favorite design. I don't like the arch. I don't mind the colors and everything, but I just don't like the arch in the design in the picture. And there's no position on the front. And it just says Dodgers and Steve Garvey. Yeah, kind of boring to me. The back's nothing special about that, but 1972 Steve Garvey. That's number 8. Number 7 is this Pie Trainer Batter Up. This card was given to me by a YouTuber. You know who you are. But I really appreciate this community and people donating or sharing their collection with others. I had done a video about third baseman, and because I collect a lot of third basemen, and I was sent this card in a care package. So there's nothing on the back of these cards here, but or pop-out stand-up cards, but this one isn't a very good, excellent 4, but thank you so much for this card. Appreciate that. Number 6 in my collection is a 1956 Jackie Robinson. Shout out to Adam Vintage Sanctuary, who just shared this as part of his top 10 vintage cards as his video response. But this was the first Jackie Robinson card of his playing days that I purchased, and very happy to have this in the collection. It's hard to tell why this got a 4, but looks pretty well centered. There's a little bit of snowing on the up there, but still love having this card in my collection. That was my first Jackie Robinson that I purchased. My most recent Jackie Robinson card is this 1955 in the SGC. I love the SGC holders for vintage cards, much better than PSA. This is a pretty well centered card as well. It's a little bit higher grade of a 4.5. I think they pretty much use the same image for Jackie in both of these. One's a little larger, obviously, more bright. I just left the colors of the yellow and blue on this one, so love that card. That's my most recent one, so that was number 5. Number 4 is a 1954 Jackie Robinson. This is also a yellow and blue card. Not crazy about the image on it, but I do love the design. 54 Tops is a superb set of the 50s. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I just love it a lot. And we got the cool backs. Love these backs. This card I picked up at the National in 2021. This is the 1953 Tops. I picked it up raw at the National, and thought it was pretty much legitimate. This is before SGC was listing why it was only authentic. I don't think it's trimmed because it's fit really tight into the space on here. I don't know if they determined that they colored something on here or why it's only authentic, because it looks a lot nicer than some of the 1s and 2s that I've seen that are kind of more beat up. So happy to have this beautiful card in the collection, and that is number 3. Number 2 is the 1964 Pete Rose. His first single card, his rookie card, is the 4 floating heads, one that Dylan showed on his channel recently, 1963 Tops. But this is one of my favorite cards here, this All-Star rookie card. Had it since the mid 80s, so I don't know, probably I bought this in 83, 84, so I've probably had it since for 40 years now, I guess. So even though I've had it longer than the card was from when it was made in 63 to 83. That was only 20 years. That's crazy to think about, because I thought it was old when I was in my teens, but now it's even older. The backs on these, not so great. This is kind of a faded back. Some of the other backs I've seen are better, but still love this card. That's number 2. And number 1, if you can all guess, is a Jackie Robinson card, the 1950 Bowman Jackie Robinson. I made a trade with George Diamond Yard Sports Cards to get this card. I traded a 1955 Sandy Koufax rookie card for this card. We did a straight up trade. My grade in the Koufax was a 6.5, and this is only a 3, so imagine if I had a 6.5 in this card. That'd be a banger, right? But this card's still beautiful anyways. Just love the batting pose. It's really well centered. It's got some nice, well-loved corners, a little fuzzy. Brooklyn Dodgers. Jackie's born in 1919. There you go. Thanks, Jason. Hope you have a great trip, and hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe inspires you to get some vintage cards. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And if you're going to be at the National, I'll see you in a couple weeks. Peace out.